Hi, this is Heidi, episode 82, Owning Your Truth. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Hello. How are you all, podcast listeners? Y'all, here we are, episode 82 and going strong. My list of topics to cover is over a page long, single-spaced. I'm so glad you're here each week and sharing this podcast. Make sure you click the subscribe button in the app that you stream podcasts in, and I really appreciate each time you review and share the podcast. Make sure you tag me if you share an episode on social media that you like, so I can return some love to you too. I hope you're in my free Facebook group, Lose Weight and Gain Confidence with Heidi. I share tips and tools and my own experiences with losing weight and, more importantly, loving myself and gaining confidence in my own worth, my body, feeling empowered to make changes and act in ways consistent with who I want to be and how I want my body to be able to serve me in the future. If you want to be part of the next round of Lose 13 Pounds in 13 Weeks program, starting in April, you can sign up on my website, HeidiBenjaminson.com, or get a link in the Facebook group or just DM me. I am thrilled with the current group, the topics, how we support each other, and they'll be the first to enroll in weekly group coaching calls that are for Lose 13 alumni only. It's one thing to be told what to do to lose weight. It's another to learn emotional skills along with behavior to make permanent changes, to get off the yo-yo dieting cycle. Today, I want to talk to you about seeing what is true in your life, stripping away the drama, blocking out the judgment or the shame, taking responsibility for what is. Anytime we want to make change, we first need to accept where we are. And that means owning our truth. Sometimes with clients, we have to stop and say, okay, so what is really true here? I'm going to give you guys a lot of examples, and you'll see why owning our truth is easier than we think and really is the first step in self-improvement. My husband has this funny saying. He says, denial isn't just a river in Egypt. So it's our quip to each other when we see ourselves denying something going on. And let's be honest, denial often seems the easiest avenue. It absolves us of responsibility of a situation. To me, it's just another indulgent emotion. And believe me, it's one I like at times. But this indulgent emotion of denial keeps us stuck on the merry-go-round of life, not making progress and not learning to accept and love ourselves and what is going on around us. Denial blocks us from learning to experience all of the human emotions and from growing. Yes, maybe from growing in painful ways, but on the other side of that growth is greater happiness and success. Usually, we don't want to own our truth, see the reality, because we're scared of the emotions we will feel. Let's go with some simple examples. Let's say we know we have a lot of credit card debt. I know in the past, when this was me, I would put off as long as possible opening bills that came in the mail, or I wouldn't check balances online. Denial felt better. When I would open the bills, I may have to deal with the thoughts and emotions like, oh no, gosh, how did this balance get so high? I'm so irresponsible. How in the world will I pay this? Being all dramatic. Now, I'm sure we've all been there at one point or another. Those thoughts in that story were all in my control, but it seemed automatic to go there. And since I hated that default story in my head, it was easier to not open the bill, to not see my truth. Notice in that simple example, owning my truth of whatever the credit card bill was, owning that I had made all of the charges, accepting whatever the balance was, that literally was step one in any forward progress. That was step one to paying off the balance, if that was my goal. Ignorance and denial literally dug me deeper into a hole. And that's exactly the visual and metaphor I want you to see. When we ignore reality, deny our own truth, we are much less powerful to make progress. We don't look for solutions. We literally are underground. and all because of the fear of our own mental story and emotions. Most of us stay off of the scale in the morning because we don't want to own the truth of what our body weighs, just what the gravitational pull of our body is. We stay off of it because we don't want to deal with the thoughts and emotions we have to control when the scale just spits out a number. That's all it does. But if left unmanaged, these emotions can impact how we feel and act and eat or overeat all day. So we're conditioned to stay off of it. In both of the cases with money or our weight, the heaviest emotion we create if we aren't careful is shame. We feel like there's something wrong with us because we can't manage our money, or we can't make enough money, or we feel there's something wrong with us because we can't control what we eat or how we exercise. Shame is always something is wrong with me. This is also very not true. So notice how our brain defaults to a story that is not true. Those stories are not accepting reality. In those two examples, here is owning our truth. When the credit card bill comes, the truth is I charged this much, whatever the dollar amount is this month. Unless our credit cards were stolen, we're responsible for all of the charges. And it's just that, no story or shame to it. Yes, the number might be higher or lower than the month prior, but the number is what it is. When we stand on the scale, the number says what it is. The reality is that on that particular day, the weight is what that number is. That truth may be that we ate more than our body used as fuel, so our body stored extra fuel as fat. Or the truth may be we flew on an airplane the day prior, or we ate very high sodium foods that are causing our body to retain water. That's what the truth is. Maybe the truth also is we had to stop exercising because we had an injury, or maybe we've been on an emotional eating cycle or such, and the scale now represents the results of those changes. An important part of owning our health truth is acknowledging that it was our hands that put our food in our mouth, or accepting it was our choice not to get out of bed to exercise. Accepting and acknowledging without the shame is where we want to get. Okay, if you can picture a horizontal line or a continuum, accepting reality and the truth is in the middle. This is the only place we have control. This is where we need to get to so we can make changes in life. On one end is shame, where we think we're bad people or something is wrong with us because of debt, our body, or whatever the challenge is in our life. On the other end of the continuum is blame. This is also a very powerless position. Blame, like shame, is denying reality and isn't true. Blame is saying, my debt is so high because my boss won't give me a raise, or blaming the high sports fees, or blaming a child for choosing an expensive college, or blaming a child or a spouse for wanting expensive things, or even them making poor choices. Blame is not taking responsibility for our own choices. So we feel disempowered to find solutions. So owning our truth looks like saying, my credit card bill is $1,000 or whatever it is. That's my responsibility. Now what? My body weighs 200 pounds. My body and my health are my responsibility. Now what? From there, we can take control and we can find solutions. Many people like to blame their attitude or negativity for their job on other people, or say, I wish I didn't have to go to this job. I hate this job. This is all extra negativity. Owning our truth is that every action we take is our responsibility. We might not like our job, but the truth is we want it because we go to it every day. We want the paycheck it provides. If we slept in instead of going to the gym, owning the truth is acknowledging I wanted sleep more than I wanted to exercise. No shame or blame, just the truth. Okay, now what? In a very real sense, like the saying goes, the truth makes us free. Seeing our truth takes the chains off that are holding us back from making any progress or any change. A friend one time shared with me how accepting and seeing her truth was a pivotal experience for her growth and her self-love. She was denying that her marriage was ending. She wasn't seeing the reality of the situation. Then finally, she had a moment of clarity, a moment free of shame or blame, and she felt overwhelming empowerment. She said over and over again to herself, my marriage is ending. It is complete. I am going to get divorced. She said she felt power in just saying it to herself. There are things I wish I had done different, but I'm here now. I made the choice to marry this person years ago. I'm now going to own my truth that I want to end this marriage. Now what? From there, she had peace, and she felt forgiveness flood into her heart, even forgiveness to herself. See, reality in our truth involves us making great choices and also us making mistakes. Our truth involves our weaknesses and our humanity. Our truth is we're just like everyone else, and we have so many strengths, and we have so many messy parts. Shame just isn't true. That we're broken or blame that someone else is responsible for our actions and reactions, none of that is reality. Owning our truth includes saying, I did this and I'm sorry, I wish I hadn't. From there, we can apologize and make restitution. A true apology is rooted in our owning our truth. We can all smell an inauthentic apology. It's knee deep in shame or blaming other people. Like when our kids were younger and they were being forced to apologize, they'd say to a sibling, I'm sorry you made me hit you. Equally inauthentic is saying, I'm such an awful and terrible person for having done this. More often than not, I find myself saying to my husband or one of my children, I'm sorry I said this. I was feeling insecure or scared, and I did or said this thing which I didn't mean. Or saying, I wish I had handled this another way. Owning that truth gives me a second chance and hopefully models to my family a more mature way to handle inevitable human situations. Okay, speaking of teenagers, owning our truth can look like us saying to ourselves, my child is making these choices. I don't agree with them. I don't condone them. Now what? What type of parent do I want to be? Blame looks like us trying to figure out what went wrong, and shame is us thinking that if we were better parents, our children would have made other choices. Neither of those are true. The truth is our children will make great choices, good choices, and poor choices. And we have much less control over them than we think. Our real control is in constantly asking who we want to be with them and how we can love them more. One emotion that often blocks reality is being offended. Not always, but often. Offense also usually reveals a space of reality where we're feeling vulnerable and scared of reality. And guess what? It's really okay to be scared and feel unsure. I remember being in a very special and sacred situation, and my friend and I were being too loud without intending to, and someone told us to be quiet or to leave. I do remember being offended. The reality was we were being too loud. We can be in stores, or maybe a salesperson brings us clothes that are a size bigger than what we wish we were. We can be offended, or we can try them on and just state the truth and the reality of our size. I remember waiting for news on a medical procedure and feeling so scared and anxious and taking offense if people tried to talk about it. I would have had more confidence and calm by just admitting to myself, I don't know how this will work out. This is scary, and it's okay to be scared. I can admit and allow fear in my life. There's no need to pile being offended on top of already uncertain reality. Why create more negativity than we're going to need to allow and then be tempted to buffer from? So I've said this a few times as I've gone through examples. We get control and we get center back in the middle for acceptance by asking, what is true in this situation? Then we can get control by asking, now what? Who do I want to be in this situation? Remember, our now doesn't mean that we have to like or condone reality, but it does mean we're fully aware and accept, and we're responsible for how we act in the situation. See, this is a lie our brain tries to tell us, that if we accept reality, we aren't going to be motivated to improve or change. And nothing could be further from the truth, y'all. Acceptance is the first step. One of my clients who has lost over 70 pounds during this pandemic told me one of the most pivotal moments for her to finally make changes was accepting the size she was at her highest weight. She owned the truth of the size scrubs that she needed to buy. She bought the new bigger size and she suddenly felt so much better. She looks back and she sees what an important step that was for her. By feeling good and owning where her body was, she was then positioned to make another positive step toward improving her health. She didn't stay stuck in asking why had she gained this weight. That question wasn't relevant anymore. The important question was, okay, now what? What do I want to do about this reality? What do I have control over? What type of future do I want to create? So I challenge you to ask yourself where you're not quite owning all of your truth. My truth acceptance changes day by day. Sometimes I need to sit and just accept the difficulties and my fears and insecurities of raising teenagers. Some days I need to accept my expenses and bills. Some days I need to accept that I don't want to do something, and that's okay. Some days my truth is I hate to see my children or my close friends or loved ones' struggles, and I wish I could take away their pain, and I try to by sending chocolate. Some days my truth is I'm just like everyone else who I judge and think is annoying, just in another way. Other days I can sit and own that I'm trying my best. The more I accept this, I build my foundation of confidence. I build my self-identity to be someone who can handle obstacles and find solutions. I reinforce my belief I can make mistakes and fail, and I'm really doing okay. A surprising benefit to owning these parts of our truth is we have greater capacity to also accept the good, to see the reality of our strengths, to feel proud of the progress we're making. That is all reality and truth too. Shame and blame and being offended block us from being able to really see how much we're growing, about how much progress we are making in significant ways. They block our access to our own self-acceptance and our own grace, which feels so much better. Okay, that's what I have for you today. If you want to know how to use these tools to achieve your goals and to get out of your own way, sign up for a consult call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. I have 2 more spots for private coaching, so sign up now if you want to come out of quarantine with a new mindset and confidence. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family. Not a perfect mother. Your family wants you to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.